says that there is footage and records of objects in the skies, these unidentified aerial phenomenon. And he says we don't know exactly what they are. What do you think that it is?
I would ask him again. Thank you.
Okay, that was weird. Unidentified aerial phenomena. That's what we're supposed to call these days. It has seen a huge spike in interest as more videos of these UFOs have been leaked, like this one that was shot by the U.S. Navy in 2019. It shows an unidentified object off the coast of San Diego, suddenly disappears at high velocity deep into the ocean. Pentagon is set to release a report. It is highly anticipated, and they are under pressure to let this information out about these incidents and others like it. In moments, the former director of the Pentagon's Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, who says the government knows a lot more than they are letting on, he joins us in just a moment. But first, national security correspondent Jen Griffin at the Pentagon. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, Martha. Well, tucked into last year's $2 trillion appropriations bill is a stipulation inserted by the Trump administration which requires national security officials to deliver a report on UFOs to Capitol Hill next month. 4 years ago, a pair of F-18 Navy Super Hornet pilots captured on their advanced radar an unidentified flying object, or as the Pentagon now calls them, unidentified aerial phenomena. Objects with no visible engine or infrared exhaust plumes that reach 30,000 feet and hypersonic speeds, spinning like a top while speeding up and slowing down. It's one of many videos that have recently come to light. Former President Barack Obama added to the frenzied speculation when he was asked about these phenomena by a late-night host.
There's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are. We can't explain how they moved, their trajectory.
Some say the sightings began after the Navy installed a new radar system, an upgrade from the 1980s era radar. Some think the phenomena is linked to a bug in the radar that makes these objects appear on screen. Others say they could be enemy spy drones or a classified program operated by the U.S. government.
I think the report will say this, that some of these sightings probably are either balloons, potentially balloons, for example, launched off a cargo ship in the Atlantic by the Russians or Chinese to try and scoop up signal intelligence, essentially, from the U.S. Navy.
But the physics of how these flashes of light move and defy gravity, that raises many questions, and now Congress is forcing the intelligence community and Pentagon to explain. Martha?
Well, we're all waiting for that. Jennifer, thank you very much. Luis Elizondo is the former director of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, and he joins me now. Lou, great to have you with us. I've seen your interviews, and you've been speaking out a lot about this lately. So I guess, the first question is, do you believe that this is going to be a tipping point? Is this report going to open up information to the American people that is going to make it impossible to close this door again?
Hi, Martha. Thank you very much for having me. I sure hope the report provides Congress the information that it's requesting and, frankly, that it deserves. There's a lot of data. And as the pilots have come out more and more frequently, they're stating that these events have occurred on a regular continuing basis. I think what I find so concerning is that, there's a lot of prosaic explanations that people are floating around. But in reality, we've been tracking these type of activities for decades. And nobody's wanted to have the conversation about it until recently. My hope is that the Pentagon is forthcoming with truthful information, but we're going to have to wait and see. Hopefully they don't try to obfuscate this issue. You're right. There's a lot of pressure on this topic right now.
Let's listen to one of the recordings of these pilots as they watched one of these objects.
My God. We're going against the wind. The wind's 120 miles to the west. Look at that thing, dude. Look at that thing. It's rotated.
I mean, how do you, when you look at this, you've looked at these things for decades in your work at the Pentagon. So, tell me why it isn't explained away by, a balloon that is trying to pick up intelligence or something that could dip under the water for the same purpose that's put up there by Russia or China. Why don't those alternatives explain it to you?
Sure, Martha. Well, your tax dollars for the last 10 years helped pay for some significant findings. And some of those findings within the ATIP program that I was part of identified 5 observables. And those observables are instantaneous acceleration, hypersonic velocity, low observability, transmedium travel, and anti-gravity, I guess you'd call it, or positive lift. In essence, being able to fly with no wings, no engines, no obvious signs of propulsion. What we are seeing are vehicles that are definitely displaying beyond next generation technology, period. And one could say, well, sure, it's a balloon, but look, balloons don't travel at supersonic speeds. They don't travel against the wind. They don't go from 80,000 feet down to 50 feet above the water in about a second and a half. That's just not realistic. And so somebody has this technology and somebody's using this technology over our controlled U.S. airspace, and that's a problem.
So you brought up something with Tucker when you spoke with him about debris. Is it your belief that the Pentagon has in its possession something that was referred to as, quote, exotic material or debris from one of these events?
I've stated that for the record before. Yes, Martha, I do believe so, and so do my colleagues. And look, the proof is in the pudding, right? So you're talking about material that was designed at the atomic level, engineered at the atomic level, at a time where, frankly, we didn't have the technology to do that. And so someone built that. And I think, from my perspective, we need to keep all options on the table until they're no longer on the table.
What does your experience tell you in terms of whether this is something alien or something from an adversary?
Well, I think we need more data, Martha. That's the problem. We can't say conclusively one way or the other because we just simply don't have enough data to draw that conclusion. I have my own personal opinion, but I think at this point, my opinion is probably not as important until we get more facts.
All right, well, I hope you'll come back. The report's going to come out in several days, beginning of June, and we'd love to have you back once you've had a chance to dig into it, and we'd like to hear a little bit more about your theory when we do see that data and that report, Lou.
Absolutely, Martha. Anytime.
Thank you so much. Great to talk with you.
Pleasure. You too.
Wow, and that's fascinating.